Valentine's Day, the day of love. And couple things. One, it's Valentine's, not Valentine's Day.
Who says times?
I know a lot of people, and it drives me absolutely nuts. Second thing, I thought it was hilarious. Like, you see the difference in people with kids, especially young kids, as opposed to people without kids. Like, I came in here this morning, I looked at David, I was like, hey, man, me and, Reed's got this elaborate plan for dinner we're doing for Valentine's Day. Yeah. This, that, and the other. What are you guys doing? And Cohen was like,
going home.
He's like, well, I got 3 kids under 3. I'm just going to go home.
When we get spit up on.
Yeah. And I asked Rhino, our audio guy, they have a brand new baby. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to go home. That's the plan.
I'm in support mode right now.
Yeah.
Whatever I can do to strengthen support, which actually today, we're 1 week old today.
1 week old today,
man. Mary Marie.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. So 7 days.
Nice. Cool.
Just trying to support the most I can. What do you got going over there?
I don't know, man. I'm just Valentine's Day wise, nothing really. But I just
said it.
I just been
what? Did you hear him?
Did
Valentine's?
Sure?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. See, that's what I'm
I
talking
don't
about.
want to be too mean, but
Yeah, who does that?
Valentine's?
I mean, in that jacket right there, you'll do.
It's been Snape all day today.
What do you mean you've been Snape all day?
He's on a Harry Potter marathon.
Not even that. I just saw someone doing Snape impressions, and I've just been. I walked in the day, I was like,
Man,
did you put your name into the goblet of fire, Harry
He's been
Potter?
doing that all morning.
I don't know.
it's actually not that bad.
Thank you. It's not, right? It's not. I'm working
I have
on
no
it.
frame of reference.
You know Snape is?
Oh, yeah, Alan Rickman played him.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Die Hard.
Mr.
Get out.
True.
Potter?
Get out.
I need some help on the trivia today because I have one and I can't believe it and I need y'all's help on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love how you say it's trivia too, but like it's framed as like just a fact.
Well, you tell me.
It's trivial.
It's trivial. It's a trivial pursuit.
Okay, so you mean I'm not asking a
Well,
question?
yeah, you're not like... Just go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong.
In the last 30 years, every time the Super Bowl has been played between the two teams, the location of the Super Bowl is in between the two teams. The team traveling west has won. New England beat St. Louis. Tampa Bay beat Oakland. Pittsburgh beat Seattle. Pittsburgh beat Arizona. Baltimore beat San Francisco. New England beat Seattle. New England beat L.A. And then Kansas City just beat San Francisco.
I thought at first you were going to do like one of those, like if a train leaves Delaware at 11:48.
We're kind of getting there.
Like
because some people on here, I mean, it's legitimate questions. I mean, like when, which one was it? Tampa Bay. Which one was it here? Baltimore being to the east of... I can't remember which one it was, but some people
it gives a whole new meaning to how
Pittsburgh, like the east of Tampa, because when Pittsburgh won it, that was in Tampa. So is that technically to the east of Tampa?
Well, it just depends on which way you look at it. Depends on how you're looking at the map.
Anyway,
make it
fly too close to the sun.
You're welcome.
David.
So take that information.
You're all
use
like
how you will.
Icarus. Yeah,
Me at the coffee.
Use it today at work. Maybe I'll get you a date on Valentine's Day. The College Football Playoff and ESPN have agreed to a 6-year extension worth $7.8 quadrillion. Alabama names a new offensive coordinator, and it's our buddy Nick Sheridan. And Ron Slade's going to join us once again to talk some college basketball and about the Boom Boom Room. I'm Jake Crane, and it's a Valentine's Day love extravaganza here at Crane & Company. Big news was dropping into the sky yesterday in college football, like a weak safety in cover 3, as ESPN announced they have bought the media rights to show the college football playoff until 2031 for a cool $1.3 billion annually. But it was the other news that really caught my eye. What's that news, you might ask? Well, it's that the new playoff format that will be voted on February 20th right now seems like the 5+7 format is going to win out. And in that case, the fan base that should be the most excited is not Oregon State or Washington State, but it is without a doubt Notre Dame. Now, why should the Fighting Irish be thanking Touchdown Jesus this morning? Well, you don't have to be a numbers scientist to figure out that the 5+7 format, which is a fancy way of saying the 5 highest conference champions will automatically get in, but now 7 at-large teams will get a bid instead of the 6+6 proposed format. That obviously benefits a team with no conference affiliation more than the original. Just like SEC teams, the Notre Dame brand is huge. And that could be the thing that sways them into that final spot in the playoff if it comes down to them and another team. Hell, we've already seen that ESPN is going to play to the biggest brands, even with playoff expansion. If they'll do it to Florida State, then they'll sure as hell do it to someone else if it comes down to them or the ratings power that is the Fighting Irish. Either way, Marcus Freeman has to be smiling because the Fighting Irish don't have to fit in the conference to get in the playoff with this new format. David Cohn, a lot of news yesterday. A lot of news. I like the 5+7. We'll get into what's going on with Washington State and Oregon State as well. But when you look going forward, and remember, I do want to throw this caveat in there for Notre Dame. They cannot get a bye, right? The first 4 teams get a bye in the 12-team playoff under this new format, which is, it's going to be voted in. I'm going to go and tell you, it's going to be voted in. But if you're a team that it comes down to the end, where if it's Notre Dame and let's say it's Cincinnati, or Notre Dame and UCF, there's no way they're going to keep Notre Dame out now that you've added this extra independent team, basically.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm shocked this extension was agreed to before we even know all of those details. And before those details have signed on, I mean, we're talking about $7.8 billion here, and every single article was the same when it said ESPN and the college football playoff are in agreement to a 6-year, $7.8 billion extension. Once the CFP leaders sort out the specifics of how the new era will work out. Like, it seems like you would get that part figured out before you would agree to the extension. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was hoping there would be a multi-network deal here. I was hoping that Fox would jump in and, you know, just the same way the NFL does. Multiple networks are airing these games. I don't really like the idea of ESPN having a monopoly over the college football playoff. We saw that sort of came to a head just a couple months ago with Florida State getting left out, even though I will say in terms of the in-game experience, I do think ESPN does a great job. And I agree with that. I still am a Kirk Herbstreit fan. I think Fowler and Reese and those guys do a great job. Agreed. And our boy Tom Luginbill, I mean, when those crews get together,
Ron Slay, who we're going to have.
ESPN does a great job in presenting the games to you. So it looks like they're going to own college football moving forward. In terms of the 5+7, that's what they're going to vote on in next Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, February 20th.
So we're going to know more about that. It makes a lot of sense. Obviously, the Pac-12 dissolving has put sort of a monkey wrench in a lot of this, but it sounds like the presidents at Oregon State and at Washington State are in favor of the 5+7 format because they say, look, 7's more than 6. It gives us one extra chance to get one of those at-large bids.
Yeah, and look, if there's ever been a sure bet, go ahead and getting the media rights to whatever the college football playoff's going to be down the stretch that's probably a sure bet. But like, I feel good. It is. You do feel like you're putting the cart before the horse. Like you're buying something before you truly know what it is. It's just kind of like a ball of clay right now. But I can understand ESPN go ahead and jumping, at it. What I find interesting, and Blaine, I want to kick this over to you as well, obviously. But with this new streaming service that's going to happen, where they're combining like ESPN and Fox and Warner Brothers and all this stuff, will that have some sort of...
Well, that's kind of my point. It's not even ESPN side of things. To me, it's the college football playoff side of things. Why would you sign a 6-year extension when you already have 2 years left and we have no idea? First of all, what happens if they do want to go to 16 teams instead of the 12, which Tim Brando has been saying for a while? We have no idea what's about to come down the pipeline when it comes to NIL or any of that sort of stuff. We may be in a revenue share before this thing even runs out, which we probably should be when we're talking about $7.8 billion. It gets back to the point we talked about a few weeks ago. How much longer are the big donors at these places? I don't care how much oil money they have or whatever. How much longer are they going to be the ones saying, well, we'll pay for the high school recruits to come to the colleges while the people making $7.8 billion get to reap all the rewards.
Yeah, well, that's why you see in South Carolina, there's a bill right now to make the NIL just go through the university. Like everything's just consumed through the university. It's a university entity.
I think I have a better way to do it, which will go through the conference, but we should break that down.
For sure. Well, I mean, I think they should just give me the money and let me do it.
And you be the escrow account?
That's the best way to do it. But
I want money.
Escrow.
Blaine, when you look at ESPN here, obviously one up to Fox. If you're Fox, I mean...
God, little boys at the table, short pockets.
Yeah, here, have some sparkling
pockets,
sparkling wine.
7.8. But look, ESPN's got that long money, man. Disney's got that long money. And let's be honest, I mean, ESPN's, I mean, they had one of their best years last year since 2018 to 2019 viewership standpoint. So am I surprised by this? No, I'm not. Do I hate ESPN? Yeah, I do. Do I like certain personalities in it? Yeah, but I know what ESPN stands for, and it's definitely not what ESPN used to be. But I can't blame them for locking this up. Look, this is the prettiest girl at the dance now, and it's only going to get better. And so it is a money-counting machine. That's what college football is. So if it's me, $7.8 billion, I don't even know that's enough.
Well, one question was going around yesterday that I thought was a fair one that said, didn't ESPN just lay off all of these talented people over the last year and they immediately turn around and sign McAfee to a huge deal and now they found $8 billion? I think that is a fair question. When you talk about great people like David Pollack lost his job, a lot of people. So I think that was a fair question to ask.
No, it is. Again, though, it's hard for me to blame him doing this. I do, before we get to the Booster Club, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, whether it's Rumble, whether you listen to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, doesn't matter. Phone line's going to open 8:15 a.m. Eastern. I do real quick. Washington State and Oregon State, the two teams that are left in the quote-unquote Pac-12 that dissolved right in front of our eyes. There's 2 years left on this deal where they get Power 5 distribution, right? They get paid like the revenue they get is like a Power 5 team. What Washington State and Oregon State is saying is basically they want alimony. Y'all divorced us. Y'all left us. All right, y'all, everybody in the Pac-12, y'all left us. Oregon, Washington, y'all went to the Big Ten. Utah, you're going to the Big 12, all this stuff, the Pac-12 folded. They want alimony. They want to be grandfathered into the next deal, too. You know, they say, listen, we may not have a conference affiliation because you can't win the Pac-12, obviously, now. That's not going to be an automatic bid into the playoff because there's two teams left. You can't win the Mountain West as well. Obviously, you have a scheduled partnership with them, kind of like Notre Dame with the ACC during the COVID year in football. But Washington State and Oregon State, this is the first time in college football I've ever seen schools want alimony. That's basically what it is. We got divorced. Now you have to pay us. There's no kids. I'm not asking for child support, right? But I need to get paid.
And Washington State's president, Kirk Schultz, had some good quotes that were going around yesterday. And one of the points is fair, which is, hey, we were the two schools sort of left standing when musical chairs stopped. We were loyal to our conference that just disappeared. We shouldn't be punished in a sense, especially over the next 2 years, which I think is fair. But now how that's going to go moving forward with the extension getting signed, like you said, I don't know if you're entitled to that money moving forward. But another part of this was when he was talking about, now, we're not necessarily going to be holding the 5+7 vote ransom for, the more money moving forward. That's not the right way to go about it.
All of a sudden, y'all disappear by the dock.
When I read that, I was thinking, so you're going to hold the 5+7.
So I don't mean any disrespect, but
no, they realize it helps. Like 5+7 is better for them too, for that extra at large.
It is better for them. I still think Notre Dame's the biggest winner, but that extra, the 2 years of money, give you some time to get back on your feet. Maybe you run into somebody who, I don't know, the guy who owns the strip mall in town that maybe wants to franchise a Chick-fil-A. Then I'm not going to give you any more alimony. You find it on your own. So that's going to be interesting to see. But you don't have to find the greatest coffee that has ever graced this planet on your own. It's easy. I can find it for you. It's Black Rifle. All right? We drink it around the office. This is literally floating around the office like a ghost. All right? Everybody's drinking it. It's fantastic. And now's the perfect time to try it for yourself. You'll see why they are becoming one of the most popular coffee companies in America. And right now, hold on to your jock straps, ladies and gentlemen. You can get 20% off your first order with promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER at blackriflecoffee.com. It's veteran founded and veteran run. And best believe, I think we're coming up with a Flamin' Dragon brew.
Yes.
I think this is actually going to happen because we took it out of Blaine's hands and really started moving it forward to corporate.
Dude,
that's why. That's why.
I get nothing but hate on
That's why.
He has the ideas. We make it happen.
We make it happen.
Nothing but hate
ideas,
on
execution. Ideas, execution.
Whatever.
Black Rifle Coffee. Don't just take our word for it. Look what David's got over there. It's Blackbeard's Delight. Hell, Pirates drink it too. And if you go to blackriflecoffee.com, like I said, right now, you get 20% off your purchase or a gunship, which is really an AC-130 with code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Promo code BOOSTER.
Do it now.
BOOSTER. Do it now.
You put your name into the fire.
Yeah, or Blaine will become Professor Snape and just stare oddly at you as you walk down the hallways of an old school that's built in a castle.
With an extremely quick walk.
Yes, and a cape.
Yes.
Also, we're going to put our link for merch in the chat. We'd appreciate it. Candles, hoodies, all type of goodies. That's right. Like Dr. Seuss over here. Let's get the booster club.
Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you ask a question, please be on topic. I don't know how someone asked a question about the Thunder basketball team so far, but, buddy, we will get there. Don't worry about it.
Chet Holmgren.
We're going to start with Chad Moreland. Chad, what is up, my guy? I still don't believe my Irish will ever get into the college football playoff at 10-2. It'll always be a 12-0 or 11-1 season, or they're out.
Not anymore.
Just my opinion. Hashtag go Irish. Everybody hates Jake.
Not anymore. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he said that at the end. No, not anymore. Yeah. Hey, it's a whole new world.
Man, that was good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Look, I've been working on it.
With the 14 playoff, it always...
I think Aladdin.
You probably should leave it to him.
Oh, man. That's
really...
Yes, that's definitely...
Really? You coming after my boy on a Wednesday morning?
You already came after me. You already came after me.
I'm just the violence.
Look, I'm just responding.
I'm sensitive when it comes
to... Look, I'm nervous about the South Carolina game tonight, too.
11 and a half.
11 and a half? That's a lot. That's a lot. Anyway, I don't want to digress. Chad? We got a lot of guys named Chad. I wonder if it's a white.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Except everything.
Love it. Not anymore. I mean, if you're Notre Dame, again, this is why one of the reasons I let off the show with this. I mean, obviously the 7 at-larges, when you're not affiliated with a conference, is better than 6 at-larges. So in reality, you should be thanking the Pac-12. The one part that I do find interesting, and you can look at the math and say Notre Dame's got a better. If Notre Dame goes 10-2, and I got to look at their schedule, they're probably going to get in. The ESPN. And they want these big brands in here. They will do anything they can to add Notre Dame to what should be a litany of you're going to have the conference champion for the ACC, for the SEC, for the Big Ten, and the Big 12. That's pretty obvious. The two most fascinating parts, outside of the slots that get filled at the end, are who's that 5th highest ranked conference champion going to be? Is it going to come out of the American Conference? Is it going to come out of the Sun Belt Conference? Hell, is it going to come out of the MAC? Or is it going to come out of something cool I hadn't even heard about yet, David?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Notre Dame is sitting in the catbird seat with this situation. But what we've talked about, leading up to this and going forward, yeah, Notre Dame, sexy brand, the Golden Dome, right? That long money, that religious money. Stop. Why are you laughing over
the chat, dude?
Oh, okay. I know why you're laughing. You're a sick puppy. But I'm not scheduling Notre Dame with all this conference realignment. If I'm in the SEC and now you add Texas and Oklahoma and I got to play a non-game in-conference schedule, no, it doesn't matter.
They already won't play Michigan
Florida State
anymore.
beat 2 SEC teams, David, at a conference and didn't get in and win undefeated.
Central Michigan, come on to town.
Yeah, look, Notre Dame's congratulations on being in the MAC.
Yeah, I think this will be great for Notre Dame. It made sense before when there was only 4 spots.
Yeah,
I mean, you kind of had to run the table and be undefeated, especially when every other conference champion is having to play that extra week, or even when a loser has to play. Like we saw TCU lost in the conference championship to Kansas State, still made the college football playoff. When Notre Dame's sitting at home that week, it made it tougher.
Bro, I just had an epiphany. Tell me if I'm wrong. In reality, Notre Dame not having to play a conference championship game is like getting a bye.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's
think
that's what we said about Alabama, Georgia this year. That was the first round of the playoffs.
Notre Dame can't get one of the top 4 spots and get that bye in this format because they don't play in a conference, right? That makes sense. But if you don't play in a conference championship, in reality, you are getting a bye.
In a sense, because that's what we said this past
year. I'll tell you
about
what,
the conference championship game.
Send us to Ukraine.
Send
us to Ukraine
after every year of college football. I always feel like that guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he's on that board.
Charlie Day
with all the different strings. Like it's just always something.
All right, let's go back to the chat.
Let's go to Josh Bassett. Josh, what is up, my guy? Billions of dollars sure could have a ton of influence on sports. Good God, but don't worry about money. It definitely isn't killing the sport. I will reread that if you need me to.
No, I get what you're saying. Look, it's tough on one hand to be like, hey, the sport is getting killed because it's making so much damn money. And then on the other hand, I can understand how you think money corrupts things because it does. I think they're two parallel paths. I don't think it's ruining the sport. I think college football is getting more popular.
Yeah, and when something gets popular, the money follows. I mean, what's the alternative? That no one cares enough about it that it just has like 3 fans in the stands?
Yeah, I would much rather have this situation where the media rights are going, for basically the same amount of money that France has right now.
All right, that's where I can read, guys. I got this. Let's go to Jor. What is up? If they expand to 16 teams with 2 automatic qualifiers per conference, wouldn't that get rid of conference championships?
See, I hope not. I think the conference championship is a great thing. I don't want to see us. It would be my luck. The minute we get rid of divisions, they get rid of the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Like the whole point, outside of being able to play everybody from a scheduling standpoint, home and away from a 4-year in a 4-year career, is that now with divisions, hey, we could have Ohio State play Michigan again. We could have the 2 best teams actually play each other in the conference championship game. Here's what I worry about with the 16-team playoff. Here's where they pack themselves in a corner. Okay, you want to expand the playoff? Guess what, buddy? If you keep the conference championship game, you're adding more games. I don't want to hear anything about player safety now. See, that's the problem they're going to have. This is what worries me.
No, but they'll
cut down the regular season.
Jake,
that's what scares me.
The clock runs.
Oh, you're right.
Down.
Those extra 12 plays.
The players are so safe right now, and the conference championships aren't going anywhere. Actually, they get more and more important the more teams you add to the conference because everybody.
Yeah, but David, you can't. They're not going to add 4 games to the what college players have to play. They're going to have to cut into the regular season.
Yeah, which I think where you would cut in are the non-conference games, the lighter games.
So we're basically going to the COVID, all play everybody in your own.
In a sense, that's interesting, which if you're getting the bigger matchups on the back end anyway, I don't have as big of a problem.
Well, what I've continued to say is that's why I keep calling it conference reduction. It's not conference expansion. Like that, we're not getting more conferences. That we're getting less conferences.
A conference
and
expands.
The more teams you put in a conference, you don't have to be Alan Turing to figure out the more teams you put in a conference, the more conference games you're going to have,
yes.
which is going to eliminate the out-of-conference games. But in that same token, if you're adding Texas and Oklahoma and all these big-time teams to the conference, you're getting those great Chick-fil-A kickoff classic games anyway within the conference. So it's kind of, what does he say? White Goodman, ipso facto, I'm your boss.
Yeah, it's like oh man, it'd be so cool if the Buckeyes played USC. That would be a great out-of-conference matchup that we're never going to have. Oh wait,
they're in the same conference
matchup now.
Yeah,
so we'll get it that way.
We should mate. I mean, date
socially.
Yeah. Let's go to Eddie. What is up, my guy? Does this 5+7 format give the second-tier college football conferences more or less chance to get into the playoff? Does that move them closer to their own championship?
No, I think it gives them more of a chance to get into the playoff. Because remember, we used to have Power 5. There's a reason it was Power 5. You had the ACC, the Pac-12, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. Those were the 5 that were going to get the automatic conference bids, right? And then you either had the 6 that was added, and you go the 6+6, where now maybe the Mountain West could be that 6 automatic highest ranked conference, or maybe, like I said, it's the Sun Belt or the American or something like that. Well, now with the 5+7, they basically just took the Pac-12 out, and now outside of those Power 4 conferences, one of those other conferences is still automatically going to get a team in. Mm-hmm. So regardless if it's Tulane, if it's, somebody out of the Mountain West, if it's Boise State, somebody like that, you are going to get a quote-unquote group of 5 team in because one group of 5 conference is going to finish as the 5th highest ranked conference champion. So that automatically gets that. The question now becomes, to me, if I'm automatically giving you one group of 5 team that could be, the 5th highest ranked conference champion, doesn't mean they're going to be the 5th seed, right? At the end of the day, I think that plows the way for that to be the only group of 5 team unless something crazy happens, right? Because if you have, for example, this past year, a 9-3 LSU team versus, let's say, 10-2 Boise State team that wasn't the highest ranked conference champion in group of 5, LSU's getting in. Mm-hmm. Like they're putting Jaden Daniels and LSU in. So on the front end, yes, it helps the group of 5 because it's automatically going to get one in there, but it doesn't, to me, move us forward to the splitting of Power 5 and Group of 5, which if that happens, then you're going to have, and you get separate championships, obviously you're going to have to redo the format, right?
That's really what we really need to happen. Another good example is Tulane Ole Miss this past year because Ole Miss beat Tulane. I think they went on the road and beat Tulane, right? And Ole Miss would have been on the bubble of a 12-team playoff, but Tulane would have been that highest ranked, at least for part of the season, they would have been that highest ranked group. That's the element of this that I still don't like. I just don't like it. And I come from a place that is one of these teams, Georgia Southern. I would love to see Georgia Southern make a 12.
They're never going to win. Yeah, you're never going to win the national championship.
But even if even take that part out of it, because hey, you get in a 12-team playoff, maybe they could win it. Yes, that would be incredible. I just feel like with everything that we're moving to with this revenue, or let's say profit sharing instead of revenue sharing, we need to have different tiered systems, right? We don't need 133 teams vying for even 12 spots, much less the 4 that we had. I think that they need their own championship. Obviously, some of the coaches we've talked about disagree because hey, it's all about how can you make the most TV revenue. Look, my mom works at one of these places and we talk all the time. A lot of these places even as popular as football is and in the South, they don't make enough money sometimes to be able to support a program when you get into a revenue sharing conversation like an Alabama or an Auburn.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. All right, one more and then we got to move on.
All right, let's go to Chance. What is up, my guy? Says Notre Dame should join the ACC and maintain their media rights. It's a win-win. Notre Dame gains conference affiliation, and the ACC gains strength.
Yeah, best believe that's what the ACC wants in football. You talk about adding a big feather to the cap. That's the only big dog left out there. Who else is left out there? Who you going to go get? I mean, look, Boise State's nice, but it's like She-Whip's nice strawberry beer. Sorry, kid. I mean, Notre Dame is that's the big dog. That's Miller Lite. That's the only one left out there. And they got the TV contract. Come on now. Speaking of Valentine's Day, coming home in the costumes on. All right, let's get to reactions.
All right, let's get to our first reaction here. Yesterday, it was going around that the Bears are considering trading Justin Fields to the Steelers. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So it would be the Steelers get Justin Fields, Bears would get that 2024 second-round pick and the 2025 fifth-round pick.
So
this was a scenario that
and still have the number 1 pick.
This is on Pro Football.
And still have the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
So basically, send Justin Fields to the Steelers. Look, here's what I'll tell you. I still believe in Justin Fields, if we're going to be honest. I know Mike Tomlin believes in him. You put Justin Fields with George Pickens and Najee Harris, Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett. I mean, I like Kenny Pickett. I don't think he can stay healthy. When I look at Justin Fields to the Steelers, why does this make so much sense? Just off the cuff, it just feels right. If you're the Bears, again, I don't think you could be wrong here. You're adding picks on top of the main pick that you already have sitting there at number 1. You don't lose that. I think this would be a mistake, though, for the Bears to get rid of Justin Fields. I really believe that. I know that Caleb Williams is – you're seeing some reports now against Caleb Williams that aren't as flattering from an on-the-field standpoint. You know, believe what you want off the field. I don't know, man. This just seems written in the stars. And if you're Justin Fields, send me to Pittsburgh. Please send me to Pittsburgh. So it just feels right, man.
I think this is be a mistake from the Bears. I really do. Where you get Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams end up being a good NFL quarterback? Yeah, I think so. But I think Justin Fields, for real, the only thing I worry about, if you're Justin Fields, you're going for a crappy offensive line to a crappy offensive line. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Steelers up front on the offensive side of the ball are not good. They're one of the worst in the NFL. It's right there with the Bears. And the Bears have pieces at receiver. I mean, you got DJ Moore. You got one of the top 10 tight ends in the league. But there is something that's fitting about seeing Justin Fields in yellow and black. There is. I think you can build on this. And if anybody I trust, it's Mike Tomlin, who literally can get outscored every year and somehow have a winning season and almost make it into the playoffs. So for the Steelers, this is a win. But for the Bears, I don't think this is a good trade.
Well, if you're Justin Fields, I'll take that defense. Give me that. I'll be on a team that's more complete than the one. Remember, the Bears on defense, not a very good club.
It just feels like this Bears franchise that's never had a 4,000-yard passer, that has to be in the same division with the Green Bay Packers that drafted Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, and now Jordan Love. And now look what the Lions are doing on offense. It seems to me like look, we missed on Mitch Trubisky, right? We have the number 1 overall pick. We have a chance to go get a generational quarterback. Are we really going to pass this up for a guy that we maybe don't believe in fully? It feels like, to me, I wasn't surprised when I saw this. I thought, okay, they are going to try and shop Justin Fields.
Well, if there's any doubt, then you got to move him. Mm-hmm. If there's any doubt, it's either there's a little bit of doubt with Justin Fields or you believe that much in Caleb Williams. But if there's any doubt, there's no point in hanging around in this relationship. You want to move on, move on. You either believe in him or you don't. And you're going to let the world know, you know, obviously in this draft, if you believe in him.
If you get Caleb Williams in or Drake May in and it's just as bad or you have the same problems, at some point it's you.
Look, regardless of who you bring in, they're going to be running for their life. Like, I mean, you're lucky you had Justin Fields, who, if anybody can run for his life, it's him. I mean, hell,
he was the leading rusher in the NFL.
But the thing about it, I think the Steelers have some great pieces, but statistically, they're a worse football team than the Bears on offense and defense. So if you go back,
who are you taking? Whose defense are you taking?
The Bears last year.
You're taking the Bears defense over
the
Watt and the Steelers defense?
Yeah, I mean the Steelers have nobody else. And the Steelers had the 21 ranked defense last year. The Bears had the 12th.
Well, that's why Eberflus didn't get fired, because of his defense.
Yeah, the defense, especially in the later half of the season for the Bears, the defense actually played really good.
With Roquan Smith, we can have a discussion. Without him, no, I'm not doing that.
All right, next one up here. Alabama has their new offensive coordinator. My brother in arms, Nick Sheridan, we were in the same quarterback class at Michigan, and he's one of my best friends in the world. And I do think Alabama would have been getting off to a really good start with Ryan Grubb remaining at OC, because he's worked with Kalen DeBoer for 12 different years, I think at 4 different stops, something like that. But hey, the guy wanted to go try out the NFL. He's going to be the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. We said the next logical step, promote the guy you just brought in, coach tight end. Yeah. So it sounds like Nick Sheridan is going to work with the quarterbacks now, which is honestly where he belongs, and will likely call plays, even though, look, Kalen DeBoer is an offensive mind, so it's going to be his system. Mm-hmm. But Nick Sheridan has spent years under the brightest minds in the game. I thought he kind of got a raw deal at Indiana when Michael Penix Jr. got hurt, but Nick's going to get thrown into the fire. I'm really happy for him. What are your thoughts?
Look, I think it was a smart move. Obviously, you want to stick with the system that you have, a guy that's been around not only the play callers, and play calling is a team effort. If you've ever been on a headset, you understand that. But you don't have to go out and teach a new guy terminology. You don't have to worry about him coming in there and maybe trying to pollute or dilute the system that you have. Kalen DeBoer, obviously you feel confident in Nick being able to call the plays. Kalen can step in whenever. I brought up that it was the team effort, but continuity and stability, right? You're not having to change as much as you've had to change. You're not adding to what you have to change, if that makes sense. You're not making it harder on yourself. I thought maybe it'd be him and Jamarcus as co-offensive coordinators. Probably basically going to be like that anyway. You have one working with the quarterbacks, the other one working with the wide receivers. But this was a smart move. Keep it in-house, especially when you have an offensive-minded head coach. This makes this transition a little bit cleaner, even though it's hard, man. That was your right-hand guy with Ryan Grubb and then the O-line coach. But it was a smart move, and happy for Nick.
And, Jalen Milroe is coming back.
You have a Heisman finalist coming back. But who's calling plays?
Yeah.
Who's calling plays? I feel like we're running into this problem a lot more than we used to. I don't want to get into half the season, all right, and then, no, I'm going to take it from you. No, you're going to call the plays. No, you do this. Let's go and cement this so we can move on.
Here's what will happen. Nick Sheridan will end up calling the plays. He will be the one that calls plays, but a lot of times he's going to be like, hey, coach, what do you like here? Hey, what do you think here? Game planning wise, obviously, Coach DeBoer is going to be involved in that. But I think he's going to give Nick his chance early to call the plays and be the one leading it. And if he has to step in, if there's something he doesn't like or something he wants to change, he can do that. But again, play calling is a team effort. Coaches have to look at different spots, whether you're in the booth, whether you're on the field. You come together before the play call, and then there's one voice at the end. I think that voice at the end will be Nick Sheridan until it's not.
Okay. Yeah, and in my experience with playing college football was it's not just the play calling on the field, because all the coaches are there. It's a 3-hour game. Anybody could call the plays. It's the game planning over the course of a week that when you're the head coach at Alabama.
When it comes down to it on the sideline where bullets are flying, one voice has to come in and one voice has to give.
You said we're seeing that a lot more. The reason we're seeing that a lot more is because guys are getting hired more and more because of their success as play callers. This happens on offense and defense, but it's especially on offense when you're talking about having to game plan. And we've seen guys, Kyle Shanahan just came out recently and said, if you got hired to be a head coach because you were a great play caller, then you probably shouldn't give up those duties.
That's what I said about Hugh Freeze.
But and that's what you said about Hugh Freeze.
But Kalen DeBoer hasn't been calling the plays.
He hasn't been. You look at someone like Jim Harbaugh, who did call plays at San Francisco, called plays the first couple years at Michigan, eventually gave those play calling duties up. And we've seen a bunch of guys. Ryan Day's trying to do this. Ryan Day's wants to give
who's my Pinocchio?
Wants to be a CEO type, and there's just a lot to deal with as a elite head coach of a power.
Yeah, eventually you do want to be Geppetto, and you want to have your own Pinocchio. A real boy.
All right, 2 more reactions here. I want to get to some hockey here. We talked about this slap shot the other day. This was against the Maple Leafs. Do we have this? Do we have this video of the slap shot in NHL?
Man, I was about to say that hockey arena really looks like a golf course.
Okay, well, we have a golf one too. So We'll find out who's responsible for not getting the hockey clip. But Waste Management, I guess, is not serving alcohol anymore.
Boo!
Yeah.
This is something
I thought it was Wasted
Barstool tweeted out that, Wasted Management?
Yeah.
Well, I just saw them tweet this out, and they said this is why Waste Management won't serve alcohol anymore.
Play this clip? No way.
Yes. Somewhere Shooter McGavin's pissed.
Oh, my goodness. That dude is literally square.
I love it.
Square.
I love it.
He's built like a pastry.
Look, hang out, big boy.
Look, I feel like at the end of the day, this is what the Waste Management was made for, right? Like everybody just freaks out and it's just a big party.
This is what you're known for.
Golf. That's golf
now it's a problem? Now it's a problem. I mean, Saudis are paying all this money. We can't have fun bad guy with his shirt off sliding down a hill
at the golf course.
Can we have one tournament like this? I don't think it all should be like this. Obviously, it's a classy man. It's a gentleman's game. But there's nothing wrong with a 500-pound guy with his shirt off sliding down a grass mountain, getting beer poured all over him. It's the Waste Management, dog.
Look, if a guy's got more layers than a room full of onions and wants to slide down a hill at a Waste Management,
it's crazy. The guy's Mariah too hard to carry over there.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
Got more roles than a movie.
I love it.
But if you're going to do that, you need a lot of trust.
That is true.
You need big trust from the boys.
Yeah, big trust.
And when it comes down to trust and wills, from maintaining control of your assets to easing the burden on your loved ones, an estate plan can ensure your family is prepared and protected. It's the offensive line for you to quarterback life. All right, write that one down. If you're looking for a way to set up your estate to offer financial benefits and more, then you need to check out our friends over at Trust and Will. You trust them, and they will do a great job. All right, we know traditional estate planning can cost thousands of bucks, and many one-size-fits-all solutions may not capture all the important details of the life you've built, but with Trust and Will, you can protect your legacy from the comfort of your home, starting at just $159. David, you're a family man now. Talk about the importance of it.
It's too important not to do. Make sure your family's taken care of if something happens to you.
Definitely. So secure your assets and protect your loved ones with Trust and Will. You'll get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/Crane. That's trustandwill.com/CRAIN for 10% off and free shipping. Trustandwill.com. I know you guys can spell that. You put a slash, then you put CRAIN. Speaking of slash, we got the hockey clip here.
Oh, we did it. Looky there, guys. We're going to start it over a little bit.
We had a little fight here.
You have it.
Let's play the clip.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is the end of the game.
All right,
this is with Ottawa and Toronto.
Oh my!
Slap shot into the empty
extra
net.
On that. I love it.
Oh,
I love it. I love it. Kill him.
So is this like in basketball? Yes. If you're up late and you're dribbling,
someone online was like, "I don't follow hockey. Explain this in basketball terms." Yeah, this is like the windmill dunk at the last second from the free throw line when you're up 30.
But see, we're only up a goal. Though.
And like the thing about it is like if you go empty net, shut up.
Yeah.
Like if you want to empty your net, then I'm going to score if I have the chance.
Is this one of those weird situations where I don't have a problem with either side? Yes, slap shot into an empty net, that's fine. And also get offended by it and stand up for your team. This hockey, baby.
No, that's I love that's like hockey in
perfect scenario.
Right, I love it.
That's hockey like all in one clip to me. Like everything you need to know about hockey is in that clip. I'm for it. It's like Cam Newton said, you don't want me to dance? Don't let me score, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
True. I love it.
All right, we got Ron Slade coming up. I want to get back to the Booster Club, but David, it's Wednesday.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is.
I've been walk your 8-foot tall ass.
I've been missing
there.
These, dude.
Every Wednesday, if you don't realize, David is really one of the Anunnakis, really like 3,000 years old.
What is an Anunnaki?
Don't play games.
It's worth a Google on your way home. Every Wednesday, our old man trapped in the young man's body tells somebody to get off his lawn. And rumor has it, you're going to the Lone Star State to show everybody how they can G off your L.
I am. Horns down sensitivity needs to get off my lawn.
Scared.
There is a growing development in the state of Texas these past few years that must be addressed, and that is the coddled overreaction to the horns down hand sign. In the last month alone, Texas head basketball coach Rodney Terry went on a post-game rant about the topic, and that was followed a week later by BYU making their own fans remove shirts spelling out horns down. This is one of the softest stories I've ever heard in sports. And this is coming from someone who is pro-sportsmanship. Texas is a brand titan in college athletics and has an iconic symbol with hook 'em horns. Of course, other programs are going to turn it upside down. You should be honored, not offended. And quite frankly, the offense taken has fueled your opponents. I mean, the gesture in question dates back as far as 1963, but has only received national attention these past few years since the Big 12 made the sign a penalty. One article out of the Lone Star State affirmed, since horns down became an unsportsmanlike conduct violation, the gesture has seen a ramp up in production by those who view it as soft. Of course, it's called the Streisand effect. Suppressing an action often leads to increased awareness for said action. The good news for Texas, as I see it, is that the majority of its fan base is unbothered by this. The bad news for those that are angered is the Longhorns are joining the Southeastern Conference this year, where officials have already stated the act alone will not be considered unsportsmanlike conduct. Texas, you just made the college football playoff. You're entering the SEC. It's time we put to rest the thin-skinned hypersensitivity around this. And until then, get off my lawn.
Very nice.
Dang.
And you know, the thing is, Cone, most of the fans of Texas, I don't think have a problem with horns down because you can, on one hand, say horns down's bad, but horns up, that's okay, right? If I shoot you the bird, whether it's up or down, like, you're getting the bird.
Yeah, and there's a way to be disrespectful that warrants an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty doing anything if you do something in the wrong way, right? Like if you're all in.
If you go up to a player,
if you throw him horns down, then punch him in the face, yeah, that's a penalty. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, it's one thing to do it like to the crowd and to the camera. It's nothing to go up to a Texas player and do horns down.
And I think that's what the SEC is saying is like doing horns down just by itself in a vacuum is not going.
You think Greg Sankey gives a shit about horns down? Greg Sankey ain't going to bend over backwards for anybody. And if you want to look, you wanted to come to the SEC, you wanted a seat at the table. All right, you got one. You can't walk in with a soft chin, buddy. I promise you that.
No.
Because they're going to find out quick. And if you were and I agree with you about the fans, I'm sure, but I'm sure the fans get it a lot more after an L, in a bar or somewhere else,
like, look,
in Athens, in Auburn, in Tuscaloosa.
No, like the Big 12, obviously there's a lot of emotion and you know veracity in the Big 12, but it's kind of like it's one thing to go out and people are like, man, you suck, like I hate you. It's another thing like when you come to SEC, like they're talking about personal things about you.
Yeah,
they're like, man, hey, like you're fat. Or like, man, you're losing your hair. It's like, what can, you know the stuff when you get into arguments where you just say the thing that just hurts, hurt them the most?
That's the SEC.
Yeah. That's the SEC. They're not going to gloss over. They're not going to be like, they're going to be like, hey, your family's poor. Like, they're going to say.
You're worried about horns down. Like, I went to Athens and there was grown men on all fours with leashes barking at me.
Like, they will say the things that, like.
You're worried about horns down? It was the Paw Patrol.
Like, what can hurt you the most? Like, oh, well, at least my parents didn't get divorced in 6th grade. Like, they say stuff like that on the playground.
It's your fault your parents got divorced.
Yeah. Like,
take BYU basketball, for instance. Like, that's not on Texas. That's not on the Texas fans. But making the student section remove shirts that say horns down?
Well, let's be honest. If anybody's gonna do it, they can't even drink Coca-Colas past like 8 o'clock.
Okay, fair enough. Touche. They can't drink Coca-Cola at all.
Yeah, it's like gonna show up.
It's caffeine.
I'm not trying to make fun of anybody or anything, but like let's be honest, if anybody was gonna be like, guys, come on.
I'd be interested to know if BYU fans in the chat, if they see that as like disrespectful, or if that crosses a sportsman like line, because I just don't see it.
Don't want to burn in hell. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. Big Coke guy.
Again, it'd be like, listen, you can't drink a Sprite and look at the sun at the same time.
All right, let's go to Drew. Let's go to Drew Koenig, Koenig.
You'll get there.
Go ahead.
What is that?
Huh?
Koenig.
Koenig, you're right.
Yeah. So I was there, David.
You'll get there.
All right? Quit doing horns down when we get off camera. He says, I'm a UT fan and have been my entire life. I can assure you that the only people making a big deal about this are non-UT fans.
Yeah. Well, and Rodney Terry, though.
Rodney only cried because he got the brakes beat off him at home.
Yeah, look.
Well, that's part of it.
That's the problem. Like, you can't, coaches, like, if I'm over here worried about horns down, how about you beat UCF?
Let's go to Chase Mills, $2 donation. Appreciate it, Chase. He said, let Cone cook and put them horns down, baby. Just remember, Chase Mills is our Oklahoma fan.
So he loves seeing Baker in there.
I hope everybody really understands. I think everybody understands what I mean when they say like personal, hurtful things. Like, that's what it is in the SEC, man. It's like, I'm trying to hurt your feelings. It's like, yes, you do look ugly in that dress. Say no to the dress.
Let's go to Emmanuel C. Emmanuel, what is up, my guy? He says, LOL, imagine Texas playing LSU in Death Valley. Horns down would be considered proper social etiquette in there.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to get urine thrown on me the whole time. Call me whatever you want. Just don't throw anything on me.
Call me what you want, but you can't call me bro. Let's go to King Don Sobek. If you can't handle someone saying horns down, you're a little crybaby, and you should go back to your little daycare that you call a conference.
So, like, people get so heated about this. Like, this just touches a nerve.
It does. That's why I feel like I had to address it.
All right, let's go to Trent CN. Going back to a little Bears talk. The Bears run a shell game, draft every position terribly, then blame the quarterback.
Yeah.
And the process seems to start over and over.
It's like a circle. It never ends.
All right, let's go to some really good ones up here. Let's go to PD2 right now. If you are the Bears and you trade the first pick, he's not talking about the Steelers trade. What should you get for the first? Like, how many picks should they get for the first pick if they do trade it?
Well, obviously, you would get the first round of the team you trade with. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna need at least 2 picks in the first round. Like, I almost need a Texans situation from last.
So like, let's say if they traded 1 to what? Who has like 13? Blaine, you have it over there.
13, I believe. You're close to Raiders,
or even 10. Let's say you trade with the Jets at 10, right? You would get the 10th pick, and then you're saying you'd want 2 more on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a Kevin Costner. I want my picks back. I want all the picks.
And get your punter back,
and get him back, and the Brock Purdy looking quarterback. Like, people don't realize that was Brock Purdy that the Browns drafted a quarterback. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't tell, they just took him early. All right, one more.
Let's go to Lee Thompson. He says, "Go to Pittsburgh, Justin Fields, and every day you'll start looking more and more like Mitch Trubisky."
No, I think Justin's way better than Mitch. I'm telling you, I think Justin Fields could be a really good player in the NFL if you put the right pieces around him. Not that he would be Lamar, but I think there's some elements that he has. There's some similarities there as well. But listen up, all right? Let's get real for a second. Let's get real. All right, and then also make sure our phone's right.
I'm telling Pavel.
Make sure our phone's.
You got to tell Pavel about that.
Ridiculous.
It's never too late for a New Year's resolution, and make 2024 the year you will stop your hair from prematurely thinning. You want to talk about getting made fun of? Right, mercilessly. It's like, what does that dude say on the commercial? Right, when he's doing the karate? He's like, I used to get bullied mercilessly on the playground. All right, if you don't want to, our friends at Provia, they can get you back in the game. You got to look good to play good. So whether it's stopping your hair thinning, if you're worried about maybe it's going to thin because you may inherit that gene from one side of the family or not, Provia is the absolute move. Their secret, it's a powerful natural ingredient called Procapil. That's all I can tell you about it. All right, they guarantee more hair on your head and less in the shower. And this is the most important part outside of this great deal I'm about to tell you. It's effective for men and women of any age, and it's safe for colored, treated, and styled hair. It doesn't matter. They got you covered. So during previous Valentine's Day promotion as well, new customers can save over 50% plus free shipping on their introductory package. Every package includes a full 60-day supply of the Provia Serum and Provia Super Concentrate for faster, more noticeable results. So don't wait. Got to look good to play good, and your full thick hair starts today. Visit proviahair.com/booster to save an extra 10% off your order. Provia works, or you get your money back 100% guaranteed. That's proviahair.com/booster, proviahair.com/booster. Great stuff over there. Speaking of great stuff, Booster Club.
All right, let's go to a little Squid Pro Quo. What is up? Says Texas is going to have a hard time in the SEC being this soft. How much success do you see from Texas early?
Well, look at what they're returning. I think Texas has a better chance than Oklahoma. The question becomes, you're having to navigate your first year through the SEC, and it's not a one-off of beating Alabama and Georgia. It's what I say all the time. It's the grind of week in and week out, having to go through that schedule. It's tough to project that or predict that when Texas hadn't had to go through that. But what's the best way to combat it? With a coach that's been there before. Steve Sarkisian's done that. He was at Alabama. With a quarterback that has experience, not only experience, but experience beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and they return some important pieces, especially up front. That's the quickest way to bridge the gap. I think Texas, they've got a chance this year. Now, long term, it's going to be cyclical like it always is, but at least you're not coming into the conference, like Oklahoma, with a quarterback that's not very experienced. I think Jackson Arnold has a chance to be good. Jury's still out for me, but Texas is in a spot to do some damage. Why don't you? We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with Ron right now, but we're going to get him on. All
right, let's stay in the chat. Let's go to
one more thing real quick, though. Texas won't get Alabama this year,
Nope.
and they play Georgia at home. Now,
Yep.
they do have to go to Ann Arbor to play Michigan, but in a year where Michigan's lost a lot of pieces. So
This is the year. You're going to catch Michigan on the road. This is the year to catch them on the road.
All right, let's go to Sammy Caldwell. What is up, my guys? Says, come on, why is everybody at Texas so butthurt? It doesn't just feel like they're always complaining about something.
See, I don't want to lump the Texas fans in this thing because I've never honestly seen a Texas fan, like a fan, complain about this. It's always been some higher up or somebody in the media. I don't think a lot of the Texas fans are like, man, this sucks, man. Horns down. It's disrespectful, man.
I wonder what went on behind the scenes when the conference made horns down a penalty. I wonder if Texas was pushing for that.
I hope not. But wouldn't they have to be, don't you think? They would have been like, hey, man, stop this. They're bullying us. That's what I'm saying. I think it's the higher, like softies, like the club men. I don't think it's the fan base. I don't think it's the Texas fan base.
Let's go to War Chant. He says the reason BYU did this because they won't get their second or third wives if they do horns down.
Look, I get it. I've always wondered what that would be like. Like, imagine, like,
Kind of like that, yeah. Kind of like that.
Like David, think about it. If you had, imagine, there would just be arguments all day. Just all day. I could not imagine having two wives. I can't argue that long. I can't debate that long. Let me put it that way. I don't want to have to turn the TV off when I'm trying to go to sleep because you don't like the noise. Twice. Already got convinced my one wife to let it play.
Can you imagine?
Now I got to do two. I got to have two people tell me to take the trash out.
Or three.
Or three. Now, I mean, maybe stuff will get done faster. I don't know. Like, that's not a knock on what's going on right now. But, I mean, you do got 4 wives. I mean,
there's pros and cons to this situation.
There is. I need to do a Venn diagram.
There's pros and cons.
You know
we need to put it on the board.
Like Venn diagram.
Put it on the board?
You need to
4 wives. We do.
Well, the outcome's going to be the same, so it's pointless. It's not like you can make a pros and cons list, and if the pros outweigh the cons, you can have 4 wives tomorrow.
You can be like, hey, he's like, hey.
Well, I know you're one.
You just call your wife. You're like, hey,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you just call your wife. You're like, I'm thinking about going to the 5+7 format.
Which, by the way, yeah. Which, by the way, look, I ate some of Reed's cooking last night as well.
Yeah.
The leftover pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
Golly.
Dude, it's fantastic.
Thanks for bringing that food again, too.
Yeah.
She made some sandwiches. We had
Wouldn't know.
Wow. That's good.
Wouldn't know. Go to Q-Smoke Jimbo.
Well, you're fed.
A lot of
I get brought cool pork chops.
Yeah, well, a lot of people asking.
Oh, that brings me. Hey, big shout out to Quade Atkins. Just they brought me some moose and cigars. Dropped it off.
Some moose.
See, we have our wives. You have Quade.
Yeah, I'm
Quade, I want to try moose.
No, trying to take Quade from me.
Quade, I want to try moose.
No, you don't get no moose. You got pork chops, dog.
They're gone.
I want moose chops.
You're not ready for that. Let's go to Q-Smoke Jimbo with the $10 donation. Appreciate it if you donate it. I will read if it's on topic. I initially believe the Bears should trade the number 1 pick, given the Bears' recent draft blunders, including picking Trubisky over Mahomes and Watson. They honestly should go with Caleb Williams.
They probably will.
Look, we're gonna just keep talking about this forever. I feel like we've talked circles around it today already.
No, until April 20th we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, good, bad, and different. I think we should keep Justin Fields.
Buckle up.
I do want to talk a little bit of college basketball. There, we're gonna get Ron Slay on here. Some really good games tonight. Starting in the SEC. Look, nobody can win on the road, man.
Really?
Like nobody can win on the road. Last night I hit an 18 parlay. I'm just taking home teams. I took Florida, I did take the over in the New Mexico-Nevada game, which ended up hitting. It was 83 to 82. But Auburn's hosting South Carolina. Today you got number 11 South Carolina going to play, I think, number 13 Auburn. Auburn's at 11.5-point favorite.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about that line. South Carolina's good, man.
They are good, but like, again, but South Carolina's been the team on the road that's been able to win. Like, they went and won at Tennessee, which, nobody's really been able to do, but it seems like everybody going on the road is just a slaughter fest. But looking around college basketball right now, man, Baylor obviously won last night against Oklahoma, who's got to be out of the top 25 right now. I keep looking at this college basketball season, and this is what I want to ask Ron when he gets on here. Is UConn right now, to you, have they separated themselves from the pack?
That's what I was going to ask, too.
Well, it's just, you look at the experience they returned with Klingon and what they have at guard and making that run last year, right? Because remember, they didn't just they didn't just survive the NCAA tournament to the Final Four and then turned it on. They basically rolled up and smoked everyone.
I think they won every game by double digits, right?
Yeah, it was an absolutely dominant
and they had like a 13-game win streak to start the year last year, kind of struggled in the middle, then finished really strong, every win double digits in the tournament, and now they're on another 12-game win streak.
It's hard not to say that UConn, we've talked all year about there isn't that one, we talk about this in college football, there isn't that one team, on the shiny golden hill that's better than everybody else, but the more you watch UConn, they'll murder DePaul tonight. They got DePaul on the road.
That line's 24.5.
Yeah, 24.5, and it's probably not going to be enough. But then you look at the ACC last night. North Carolina, speaking of Q-Smo Jimbo, shout out to him. Syracuse keeping themselves in the hunt for the NCAA tournament. Beat North Carolina, number 3 North Carolina, who's now lost 3 of their last 5 games. You look around the rest of the ACC, nobody's really scaring the hell out of you. Duke doesn't scare me too much coming to the ACC. Wake Forest can score, yes, but defensively, they've got problems. I look around college basketball, but tonight, and I want to get the chat's thoughts on this, but before we get Ron in here, if we're able to get him in here, if you're Auburn and you beat this South Carolina team, and then you beat Kentucky, who did beat Ole Miss last night, even though it was ugly, and they turned the ball over a lot more than what I've seen Kentucky here. I think this year is going to be the hardest year ever to pick the Final Four. Indiana State lost last night.
No, I was
home
surprised by that one.
I think it was
that Lose got beat up.
By Illinois State. But let's go and get to calls before we get Ron in here. Ron's at the airport. He's fitting us in before his SEC Network time. So I do want to say thanks.
Let's do it. I got Jan on the line in Lubbock, Texas. Jan, how you doing?
Hey, great. You're on the Get Off My Lawn was the best.
Oh, yeah, especially as a Texas Tech fan. I'm sure you didn't hate that.
Tech, guns up.
Well, before I get on to why I really called, I wanted to tell you there's a great restaurant in Lubbock called the Triple J Chop House. They have a big longhorn on the wall, and every year they have the annual turning down of the horns.
Oh, wow. God, what's the name of that place? Jan, what's the name of that restaurant?
Triple J Chop House.
God, I bet that's so good. Yeah. What's the best thing to get there? Regale me.
A filet. Come on.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow, you're a filet girl.
Yeah.
I got the menu pulled up right now.
You're so fat.
Oh, some Buddy Holly mushrooms. Buddy Holly mushrooms right there.
Yeah, I'm not big on mushrooms, those kind.
Well, how about
on the weekend?
The Miss Kitty Cat, the 12-ounce ribeye.
Big on that.
So,
Miss Kitty Cat.
Makes it even sweeter that we sent Texas off with a loss this year as they go to the SEC.
Hey, Texas Tech, big win the other day in basketball.
Yeah,
against Kansas, beat them up.
Asleep.
And I've always heard the phrase about walking on a cloud, and I know that that's dangerous because you can step wrong and fall right through. But after this weekend, UCF on Saturday, Patrick comes home on Sunday, and on Monday night, we even get Bill Self kicked out of the game.
Man, yeah. It's a riding high.
29-point win. But, the best thing I want to give credit to is Darion Williams.
Yeah, triple-double, right?
Kid play. Listen to this. 30 points, 12 for 12 from the floor, 4 for 4 3-points, 2 for 2 free throws, and 11 rebounds.
Yeah, it's a good day at the office. That's pretty much perfect. It's like on old school. That was perfect.
And he's such a good kid. He always has a great attitude, has a smile on his face, very humble. Not one of these he wants to win. He doesn't want to just score.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give a real big shout out to him and to Tech and to Grant McCaslin, who has just brought so much lightness and happiness back to our basketball. It's just, it's wonderful.
Definitely, Jan.
So, really
light and love to you, Jan.
And your boy Patrick Mahomes got another Super Bowl MVP. Congratulations.
That guy. And didn't he just do it? He just finally said, okay, enough. I'm going to win this game and get this over with.
Yep.
I mean, that's what he does.
Well, listen, happy Valentine to you all, and just keep giving Tech some love. We really appreciate it.
Guns up.
Hey, love you, Jan.
Hey, Jan.
You have a great day, Jan.
Okay.
See you, Jan. All right, let's go to Jimbo in New York. Jimbo, how you doing?
Man, what's up, fellas? It's your boy Q-Smo Jumbo here, and I first want to start off by saying Q's basketball is back, baby.
Yeah, get excited about it. Get excited.
Yeah, okay, y'all just don't blow it against like some terrible team. Don't lose to Louisville or something next week.
Oh, that would be awful. Like we needed that one to keep our tournament hopes alive.
You had to have it. It's the Chin Pokemon situation. Hot.
Yeah, no doubt. But my reason for today's call is I wanted to lean a little bit more into the Kelsey situation. In regards with him bumping into Andy Reid. You know, like obviously we all agree that was completely out of line. In fact, you know, Syracuse basketball 2 weeks ago had a kind of a similar situation where one of our players shoulder bumped Coach Red Autry on his way to the bench. And now he's not on the team anymore. Now, granted, there were some other disciplinary issues leading up to that.
I'm guessing he probably wasn't a top 5 player all time at his position either.
Nah, but he was good. Like he was a very talented player, but nah, he wasn't like one of our all-time greatest. But and I wanted to ask you though, like as former coaches, you know, regarding that specific situation, you know, he's been a key piece of the Chiefs' championship runs over the past several years, and you just won the Super Bowl again. Now, if you're Andy Reid in that situation, like, you know, if you were him, do you honestly do anything to discipline Kelsey, or do you just kind of just let it go and just expect him to just man up and apologize to you on his own time?
Yeah, well, I think Travis did that already.
He did.
I think Travis went back and apologized to him. Yeah, look, that relationship's so tight. They've been together for so long. I mean, you know, that's not even going to be a blip on the radar screen. I'm sure it's already been forgotten about. Andy Reid could care less. Look, if that's the worst thing that happens is that you accidentally bump into me and kind of almost barrel me over as we're winning our 3rd Super Bowl in the last 5 years when you're Travis Kelce, then I'll take that 100% of the time. It's like we said, it's a very emotional thing on the sideline. I can only imagine for the Super Bowl how high the emotions are. You don't ever want to put your hands on somebody, but I don't think Travis Kelce, the intent was for him to try and knock Andy Reid over or to like physically dominate Andy Reid into submission. I think it's just something that happens on the sidelines every now and then, and they obviously move past it. Hell, it may have been the thing that pushed him in the second half for Travis to end up having the game that he had. The dude had 1 yard going in the third quarter.
And I think it's less about how great of a player he is. We can talk about that. Like, well, he's one of the greatest tight ends in history, so he has leeway to do something like this. I don't think that's true necessarily as much as his relationship with Andy Reid is the thing to consider, right? Like Travis Kelce has already said there's no one on the planet I respect more than Andy Reid, and Andy Reid has said out of all the guys on the team, I get Travis Kelce the most. I think he's a former offensive lineman. That sort of comes into play there. So I don't think anything will happen with this moving forward except maybe they win another Super Bowl together. Yeah, and that makes sense too because, going on Twitter, you hear, everybody Monday morning quarterbacking the thing saying they would have benched him for the rest of the game. But,
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd have benched him for the rest of the Super Bowl. Yeah, right.
I mean, he's basically benched for the first half. You can't.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people saying that have no idea or no clue what they're talking about. I would do the exact opposite of everything.
We're going to bench him for the first half of the first game next season.
And you know what? No, Travis, to punish you, we're going to bench Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. Teach you to do this again.
Right.
It's like when you get in trouble punishing like your brother or somebody else, like that's the worst.
Yeah. Well, I had to hear it all day the last couple of days from my stepbro. He's actually been a huge Chiefs fan, his whole life. We can go back to Elvis Gerbach being the quarterback. That's how long he's been
wow.
for.
You should have him call you Dragon.
Elvis Gerbach. There's a name for you.
There's only one Dragon, Jimmo. You know this.
Right.
Or Nighthawk.
Yeah, you're the only one, Blaine. We got you.
That's why I love you, Jimbo. No, you look great in that Crane & Company shirt as well.
Appreciate it,
Hey,
Jimbo.
congrats on the dub, Jimbo.
No doubt.
Thanks, man. All right, let's go to Kevin in Pennsylvania. Kevin, how you doing?
Fellas, how are we doing today?
Good,
Hello,
dude.
what's
How
up,
are you,
man?
Kev?
got to be honest. I have a heart full of sadness, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Oh,
Tell us
God.
why.
TJ Watt getting absolutely snubbed. And I know. I'm a Pittsburgh fan. You know, It's going to sound like I'm just complaining the whole time. I just want someone to make it make sense. I just want one person to make it make sense. That's all I want. That's why I love you guys.
Look, listen, I can't make sense out of something that doesn't make sense, right? I think it's, at this point, it's ridiculous. You almost feel like there's some personal vendetta. It's almost like a petty NCAA Jim Harbaugh situation when it comes to TJ. I want to ask you this, though, Kevin. Justin Fields, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay.
Time,
If I'm a Steelers fan, give me that. Let me roam in the Justin Fields. I want Justin Fields all day. I'm telling you, I love that three-headed monster. Because Kenny Pickett can't stay healthy, man. Do you trust Kenny Pickett even when he's healthy, Kevin? Y'all's name both start with K.
I got to be honest. I do trust him when he's healthy. But I don't know. I mean, the Steelers have been doing it forever, putting up 10 points and winning. So I guess that's not really a problem. But I just don't know how long. He ain't Big Ben,
No.
He can't just come back at the end of a game and win it. He can't, as of now, I love Kenny Pickett, but if you're telling me we're getting Justin Fields in there, I'm not exactly going to be complaining.
And I'm running zone read with Najee Harris and Justin Fields and Jalen Warren and even Freiermuth, George Pickens, Deontay.
The TJ Watt situation is weird, though.
Well, yeah, what is it?
It's because Myles Garrett won it, correct?
Yep, you sure did.
Yeah. It's like,
look, Myles,
I think PFF has a lot to do with it because the traditional stats of TJ are good, but then they get into the advanced stats.
See,
and
look,
it's apparently Myles Garrett has very advanced stats.
That PFF stuff sucks to me.
Yeah, they're doing a lot.
Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. The traditional stats, tackle for loss and sacks.
Quarterback.
We're listen, he did get off the line of scrimmage faster than anybody did in 2012. I want you to make tackles and sacks and deflect balls. Those traditional stats, that's what I like. Because that means traditionally, I got your ass on the ground. That's what it means.
Hey, Kevin, speaking about Big Ben, what was it that he said recently? Something about the Steelers, maybe the Steelers tradition is done, and TJ Watt responded to that or something?
I think so. A while ago, a few months ago, not a while ago, Big Ben said, the culture is gone on his podcast. And then, I don't know, I don't really care about all the drama, but then TJ's like, no, it's not. But then recently, I think James Harrison was like, yeah, no one respects Tomlin or something like that, which that's kind of a big deal.
Wow.
So, I don't know. I think they
still made the playoffs, man.
Yeah, I just see TJ Watt just walking around with a gallon of milk.
I mean, they looked as bad as it could get early in the season in some of those games, and they still made the playoffs.
Found a way.
Weird.
Still found a way.
Really weird.
Kevin, we appreciate you finding a way, bro.
Thanks, Kev.
All right, let's go to Brian. You know where Brian is.
He's from Boston.
Brian's in Boston. Brian, what's up?
What's going on, guys? Do you guys watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes.
No.
Well, not the newest seasons, but yes.
Somewhat.
All right. A little bit down so far to start. But one of the older episodes, they had that one all revolving around the pickle jar.
Yeah.
Everybody wanting to open the pickle jar.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what Kyle Shanahan is to me. Trying to do too much. Always. The guy overthinks it by half. What is he doing in that game? Did you hear his explanation for why he decided to take the ball to start in overtime? He said that he was going to talk.
Go ahead.
He said we discussed it as upstairs with the guys upstairs. In my mind, are the nerds upstairs in the analytics department, and he said we wanted the ball on the third possession. So this guy is trying to open the pickle jar, being pickle boy, overthinking it instead of worrying about play the overtime the way it is. The new rules, do it like college overtime. You kick off, play defense first, then you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
You don't go there, take the ball, settle for a field goal, and give Pennywise the ball to come down and beat you.
Yeah. Well, the way I looked at it is, like I said the other day, and I agree with this, in college football, in the old, the way it is now, obviously you start from the 25 on that first possession. They've changed the later possessions. But in college football, if the right play, and it is the right play, in overtime is to go on defense first, and the other team basically gets the ball starting in the red zone going in, you would think, and you would be right, that when the NFL playoff overtime rules, where each team gets a possession, you would want to start on defense because the other team is probably going to start from their own 20 because you're going to kick a touchback.
Yeah.
So me playing for the third possession, makes me think that you don't want to go win it on the first. Here's what I want to do. I want to kick it off. I'm going to stop you. Then I'm going to drive it down and kick a short field goal to win.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about a third possession. There is no third possession. But if there happens to be a third possession, we're going to kick your ass that third possession.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of teams, Brian, are going to look at this and learn from this, and they're going to kick the ball off in overtime moving forward. The only other justification that I heard was, hey, if you kick off to Patrick Mahomes and he goes down and scores a touchdown, the amount of pressure on Brock Purdy in that second drive is just otherworldly. But, hey, it's the Super Bowl. At least then you would know what you have to do. You have to score a touchdown or you have to kick a field goal.
Yeah, I would rather know that I'm going to get the ball and know what I have to do. Do I have to score a touchdown? Do I have to kick a field goal? 100%.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's been through enough pressure. Hell, he got him to where they are. So if you're worried about that in the Super Bowl, then you already lost.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely. And you have to know if you need to go for it on fourth down. Like, all that stuff is there in front of you.
Got to know when to go.
Crazy. And absolutely. But it also makes me think about like something you guys were talking about earlier in the show about these guys who still call plays as a head coach. And, if you got hired because of being a great play caller, you're still going to do it. Mm-hmm. But I have a gripe with that as well. I want my head coach managing the game.
Yep.
And I feel like too often Shanahan is too involved with his own playbook and his scheme. And again, trying to be too cute. And like that's what he gets off on. That's what he loves to do. And I get it. And that is why he was hired. But I want my head coach to be overseeing the entire operation. He has to manage clock, manage situations, manage everything. And he's on the headset. He could still override some plays and stuff, but I don't want him buried in his play sheet.
Well, what I want, Brian? I want what's best for the team. But like if that's the head coach calling the plays, some guys can do both. Some guys can walk and chew gum at the same time like that. Some can't. They get too enveloped into what they're doing. And it's not just during the game and play calling. It's in prep too. It's tough as a defense with an offensive-minded head coach that's calling the plays, and you never see him on the defensive side. Or he's never cheering for the defense. You almost fracture the team in half with the defensive head coach. It's the de facto defensive coordinator. And then the head, quote-unquote head coach who calls the plays on offense. I want whatever is best for the team. If that's the head coach to oversee it, 30,000-foot view, then that is what it is. If it's him calling the plays specifically and he can walk and chew gum at the same time, that's something we need to do. But speaking of, Brian, thanks for the call, brother.
Appreciate it, Brian,
Ron Slade. Ron, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. What's up, dog?
Meow, meow. I gotta be a kitty cat purr, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, no, man. I appreciate you joining us. No, y'all. It's crazy right now being in season, but I've got to ask you, brother. First off, shout out to the Boom Boom Room as usual. But something that we were kicking around back and forth before you got on here. The last time we brought you on, we talked about the parity in college basketball, and it's still there. I mean, nobody can win on the road. Kansas got destroyed. North Carolina lost to Syracuse last night. But do you think UConn right now, 12 straight wins, returning the experience they had from a team last year that ran through the NCAA tournament, unlike anything I've really seen one team do, I believe winning every game by double digits, Cone brought that stat up. Do you think UConn has separated themselves from the pack, or are they just one of the really good teams that's just playing really well right now?
Man, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, when you look at talking about separating yourself from the pack, you look at their conference, well, without question, that's what it is. Outside of Marquette, they are the big dogs. And then across the college landscape, I mean, they're playing the most consistent and doing it in multiple ways. I think, man, UConn, if you had to take – me and Damian Fishback argue about this every time we get together. He hits me with, if you give me UConn on the field, I'm taking UConn. I'm like, dog, that is ridiculous. Whew. There's no way you take
They ain't Tiger Woods, Ron. They ain't Tiger Woods.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain. So But I do see his point, man. When you got a guys that know the system, believe in each other, and a great coach and Coach Hurley, man, these guys are getting it done. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran the table and went on and got it done, and got a championship. But at the same time, man, it's different when you get on those neutral sites and you talk about the parity. Yeah. It only takes one game and one person in basketball.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt. And you know, Ron, kind of shifting gears. I mean, you look around the country, you look in the SEC right now. You got Auburn and South Carolina tonight. Auburn's an 11.5-point favorite at home against an 11-ranked South Carolina team. You know, it's funny. I kind of want you for a second to just explain to the fans, because I think a lot of SEC fans fall in this trap too, because obviously football's king. We know that in the SEC. They look at the regular season in college basketball, kind of like in college football, and like, oh, you lose the game, it's devastating, you know, it's the world is ending. But man, I mean, Auburn goes and gets boat raced by Florida on the road, but Tennessee then goes and gets boat raced by A&M on the road, who then loses to Vanderbilt last night. I mean, can you just explain to the fans, like, it's a roller coaster, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint in this deal.
Man, that's exactly what it is. And you gotta get caught in the moment. Live right there in the moment, man. Stop looking so far ahead. Stop looking behind. Stay right there where your feet are. And the thing that's difficult about the SEC is you come right out of football season where each game means so much because it really could be over with one loss. And it's hard to transition in your mind as a fan in the SEC that, hey, man, this is what's like. Nobody's going undefeated.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But you got to understand, man, if you take care of your business at home, things will be okay. You still a couple on the road, everything will be fine. And you gotta understand too, you're in a different kind of conference now, man. This isn't the SEC of 4 or 5 years ago. You know, outside of where I can't even say outside of Vanderbilt because they went down to Texas A&M last night. But you look at Missouri still trying to struggle and get a win. But other than that, even Arkansas with Tennessee going to face them in Bud Walton tonight. This is a tough conference, and these coaches get paid a lot of money to go get victories. And mind you, the NIL is in effect, so guys got to get out there and perform.
For sure.
It's difficult, man. The fans got to take the Natick part off of it every now and then and just understand, man, that you are watching some good basketball and teams that are hungry and bolstering their resume for the NCAA committee.
Hey, was that real quick before I kick it over to David? Was that a travel last night? That last shot by Vanderbilt, or did that ball move?
No, the ball moved.
I thought the ball moved too.
He knocked the ball out of his hand. Yeah, he knocked the ball out of his hand. And then I'll say this too. Mannion did a great, well, I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but he did a great job of letting the ball go. A lot of people are trying to keep the ball in his hands where it could, remain a jump ball and then put it in the official's hands. He let the ball go, came down. It's just like I compare it to if you go up and you're getting ready to shoot and the ball slips out of your hand. You know, back in the day, you used to think, oh, no, you got to let it go. Somebody else come grab it. And you try to box the guy out. You can grab that ball. So it's really the same exact thing.
Yeah. No, that was a killer loss for A&M last night, David.
Man, talking about that South Carolina-Auburn game, South Carolina is one of those teams that's proven they can win on the road. I think they're on a 7-game win streak right now. Going on the road to Auburn. That line's 11.5 points right now with Auburn favored. I mean, Ron, how you feeling about that?
Man, first of all, that's a whole lot of points. I know what the jungle brings, man. And they got fun and games in the jungle, but 11.5, man, I just came from Vegas, and I'm not sure that line is correct. But you got to go into it and take it for what it's worth. I do believe, man, Talon Cooper, man, he reflects exactly who Coach Lamont Paris is, man. You never see Lamont Paris on the sideline being rattled. You see a stoic individual over there, and I think he mirrors that. And when things seem a little bit chaotic, he's always the settling force for South Carolina. Michie Johnson's able to slide over to the 2 spot. You got guys getting back healthy. Murray Boyles, man, that may be my favorite
he's
player.
Figuring it out, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh, dog. You talking about a guy getting healthy and getting stronger, the energy he brings on both ends of the floor and just trying to help the team, and they allow him to be himself. Man, that's a dangerous team. So, but what's more dangerous than Bruce Pearl coming off a loss and being able to play at home. And
Play's gonna be wild.
And tell the fans that we're disrespected. Nobody respects us. Look at where they got us. Oh, he uses everything. Master motivator. So I expect him to be locked in and ready to roll too.
Should be a fun one.
Can't wait.
All right, Ron, we're going to get some questions here in the booster chat, my brother. We're going to start off with Ethan, and he wants to know, is USF a little bit of a sleeper making the March Madness this year?
That's a good one, man. I want to put to bed the talk of sleepers and mid majors, man, because of the way the transfer portal is. Like these guys that you would consider mid majors and guys going on runs are people that have played a lot of times in the Power 5 ranks, or the people that now have been overlooked and are trying to get that Power 5 look, may have not gotten that look because of the transfer portal. So to me, it's even playing field, man. You can go to USF, UCF, anywhere, and still have those same opportunities to get those looks, man, and have the same amount of talent. You just didn't get that same platform. So, anybody can go on a run. I'm the sleeper thing.
Yeah,
it's gonna take they're gonna have to put a Division II team in there.
Ever since UMBC beat Virginia, a 16 beating a 1, all bets are off, man. Ever since that happened, it's like opened up a time warp.
All right, Ron, we're gonna go to Chase here. He wants to know, will Purdue ever put it together and actually make a run and win a championship in March?
Man, it's so difficult when you're centered around a guy as dominant as Zach Edey, man. You as dominant as he is, it's still one dimension. You know, and I think the guys that go on and can go on runs and take over tournaments are guys that are point guards. And this is coming from a big man, and I hate to say this, but it comes from point guards and it comes from guys on the wing that can do 2 minute, a whole bunch of different things, and you cannot put them in a box. Zach Edey, you can put him in a box. You throw enough bodies at him, maybe you get him in foul trouble. That pick and pop, pick and roll, you hitting on that day, he can be in trouble. So I honestly don't think Purdue will be able to put it together. I do think they get to the second weekend, though.
Look, it's a Purdue. They're a one-trick pony. It's a hell of a trick. And speaking about putting Zach Edey in a box, you probably got to put him in that box they put the dinosaur at the beginning of the first Jurassic Park movie in. But, Ron, man, we appreciate you joining us. I know you're a busy man. I know you're going to be on TV tonight. Tell everybody where they can find you and where they can watch your great coverage, brother.
Man, you can find the SEC Network going down tonight with 30 minutes before South Carolina and Auburn, getting you ready for that. Wednesdays and Saturdays in studio. And then on 104.5 The Zone right there in Nashville, 3 to 6 every day, 3HL with Don Davenport and Brent Daugherty, man.
Ron, you're the man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys, bro. Anytime.
All right, one of the best in the business. A hell of a player, too. Ron Slay at Tennessee.
Could he guard me, though? That's the question.
Yes.
Think Ron can lock me down?
Did
you watch Lady Ballers, dude?
Blaine, yes. Blair, no.
No, Blair, Blair.
Let's get him in studio and test it.
We got to wait till that Achilles.
It's getting there. It's in the works.
Tendons that are made out of bubble gum.
It's in the works.
Yeah, he spent 1 week in the.
All right, let's get to bets, and then we'll get to donuts. All right, here's what we got tonight. Last night, 1-1. Thank God that Florida LSU overhit, because for some reason Butler, we scored 72 points. I like Marquette. I like that lefty, but we scored 72 points. I don't understand it. God, I'm taking another Notre Dame. Wow. I accidentally put under. That's a sign. Trust
that
Put
sign.
under on what?
I was going to take Georgia Tech Notre Dame over 132.5 at -112, but I wrote under.
So what are you going to do?
I heard you have to have it.
I got to stick with it. Maybe that's a sign.
That's a sign.
Right?
I heard the overs hidden.
My guardian angel Geppetto under 132.5. Let's ride. And then Tennessee, Arkansas under 151.5. That's going off at -108.
Oh, I love that one.
Giants.
I'm bet buds on that one, man. I think it's going to be a physical game, a lot of defense. I'll take the under as well. And then UConn -24.5. Let's see.
Good bet.
Let's figure it out. Last night, Pitt just beat Virginia outright.
Yeah, I know.
Just 77.
I was shocked there were so many points scored in that game.
It did hit the Providence money line, though.
Attaboy.
There you go. That's a win. I thought I was 8-18.
Oh, I didn't. Wait.
I don't know how I'm 9-20.
Yeah, you went 1-1. You were 8-19 yesterday, and you went 1-1.
I was 8-18. We'll go back and look at it. But hey, DePaul, that's what I'm talking about. Grown-ups. That's how you handle business. Butler, you shouldn't trust you guys. All right, give me South Carolina plus 11.5 on the road. You know why, David? Because I can. That's why. It's going off at -114. And give me Miami plus 7.5. They are also on the road, -105. Look, I believe in this Miami team. I believe they got Clemson. Clemson is good, but I do think this game will be close.
I think it's going to be high scoring. Ace, he's going to go hockey. Penguins, money line. They're going to waddle their way at plus 110. And then the Wild. Oh, you love to see it. Money line -180.
Go Wild, son.
Let's go Wild, son.
All right, let's get these donations. Emmanuel C., $5 dono. Appreciate it, brother. Great to hear C and C again. The universe answered. For Blaine, which Yankee batter will be the workhorse for fantasy baseball players this season? And when it comes to any Yankee batter, it's hard for me not to take Aaron Judge when it comes to fantasy.
Give me Anthony Rizzo, dog.
Yeah, Rizzo's not a big pick either. The Rizzler. Binks Majinks with the $5 donation. Appreciate it. How about my Pitt Panthers last night?
Big one.
I think we're a tournament team now with the wins on the road against Duke and UVA, H2P, heart.
Jeff capable.
All right, let's go to
Pitch fans will understand what I did there.
Sports Mark 784 with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, man. Love the show, guys. We love you, my brother. What do you guys think of the ceiling for Pitt basketball after their upset win over Virginia? Pitt starting to show out.
It's like Ron said, man. Look, it's who knows that who knows. It's who's getting hot at the right time, and that looks like Pitt is. And coming off a year where the football season was a struggle, even though I called that, I don't want to sit here and say whatever. But I think Pitt can make a decent run. Look, you're in the ACC. You play good competition. You just got to get in. You get in, you got a shot, man.
All right, let's go to Steve Miller, a.k.a. the Space Cowboy. $5 donation. Appreciate it. Says, what is up with the University of Michigan's basketball team?
Yeah,
they're so inconsistent these last few years. And Turney 1 year, not in it the next.
Fire Jawan?
8-17 right now. Well, it should have happened a while ago.
You mean when he slapped the Wisconsin coach?
Look, I think it just shows you how great of a coach John Beilein was. John Beilein, there was a certain floor to that program when John Beilein was there, and that's just not the case anymore.
Well, I heard he left to go to the Cavs because college basketball was just ruined and everybody hated it. Nobody wanted to coach anymore.
I don't think that's accurate.
Let's go to Steve's trading card frenzy. $12.34 donation. Steve, thank you, buddy. Taking another one for the team. This donation gives us a bingo. Jake missing the card gives us another bingo. So let's make it happen.
Oh,
see,
boy.
now I'm going to catch it.
Jake's out here complaining about the card's thickness.
Yeah, what do me and COVID have in common? I'm going to catch it.
All right, let's go to Major Moose Knuckles, $5 donation. Great to see you in here, my brother. Jake, you want moose chops?
Yes.
But what about a moose knuckle?
Don't tip me with a good time, Major.
I knew it. He loves it. Let's go to another one from Steve Miller with the $5 donation. Appreciate it. Not the band. Horn down is nothing. Big Ten has little brother, MSU, and the Suckeyes, but with the letter F. LOL.
I swear. Okay, I get it.
Look, to be honest with you, I have no idea what I just read.
No, I get what
we get it.
Okay, good. As long as y'all get it, I'm fine with it. All right, Chase Mills, we got your donation, $2. Appreciate it. It says horns down. Let's go to the last donation of the day. Surprise, surprise. That's Steve's trading card frenzy. $2 donation. Jake, did you forget something yesterday? Question face, question face, question face.
Did I forget something yesterday?
Did you forget something yesterday, Jake?
Action figure
thing.
donut.
Yes. Yes, Steve. I got it.
Well, it's crazy. I just got 2 more donations. All right, let's go to Nick Bates. $5 donation. Appreciate it, Nick. This is dedicated to my wife, Emily, who's my rock and my superhero. That's sweet.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, she's staring at you right now.
Yeah.
She gave us amazing son, Max, and she's making me a better man every day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go.
No,
Nick,
good for you, man.
Good for you, Nick.
Yeah, good for you, Nick.
Congratulations to Emily, too. All right, last one. $10 donation. Chase Mills. New future parlay place, boys. All overs. Luis Arias, 176 hits. Ronald Acuna, 179 hits. Bobby Miller, 150 Ks. Luis Castillo, 195 Ks. Jose Ramirez, 27 homers. And Esteri Ruiz, 49 stolen bases, 100 to win 2,500. I'm a lot better at reading baseball players' names than hockey.
You are. That was pretty good. It's Spanish. You're better at.
Well, look, your boy would be playing that.
You give him.
Your boy be playing that. Look, your boy be playing that MLB a lot.
I don't know how to pronounce like stuff that ends in KZD.
Yeah, it's the Russian stuff gets me. But here's that sounds like a guy from the Dominican. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's how you pronounce it.
All right, let's get to the poll.
Shut up.
Great day today, chat. Will Jake Crane
What?
Catch the flash card.
No, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and put it. You have to throw it. You can't like.
Yeah, but like
you can't
y'all gotta
barely
understand.
toss
Typically
it.
they're heavier.
Oh.
I get it wrapped, but like this one is lighter and it goes everywhere, so I can't throw it as far. It's just gonna
Well,
go.
now I don't know.
Well, what-
Like I gotta
like,
turn it into a paper airplane.
What does Jake
to
always
throw it.
say? If I want to hear excuses, I'll talk to a prisoner.
Yeah, but like this isn't an excuse. This is reality. This is like a real
Just like
thing.
you said, he didn't want to talk about Justin Fields, and that guy called and he asked him about Justin Fields.
You know, I wonder if you could. They say strangling a person's really hard.
I'm saying yes because I believe it.
I love
Thank
that
you.
from you.
Yes, 75%.
Chad agrees. Well, not as much. You got to know. You got to guess, dude.
Oh.
you have T-Rex arms. Just
Yeah,
guess the
well, I'm
bowl.
trying to control.
You've been
the
watching
controllables.
Lady Ballers.
Trying to
Watching
control
the
the controllables.
What's
I'm gonna say yes, 71%.
all right? Yes, 40%. No, 60%.
Oh,
Prove it wrong, son.
come on, son.
Prove it wrong,
Come on,
son.
son.
It's my moment.
Catch
It's
that
your
card.
moment.
Here we go.
He choked it.
I got it.
No, I didn't.
I got it.
choked.
Y'all saw it. I did it for the bingo card.
This light here.
I did it for the bingo card. We're going, gone. End it.